reality TV show these days, and an op-ed in the New York Times claims we should get used to it. The article claims we need to take candidates like former reality star Spencer Pratt seriously. He seems to be gaining ground in the LA mayor's race for his aggressive.
What's up, tribe? Today we are covering how feminists apparently don't even know what democracy even is. So let's get into it, shall we? And without further ado, boom.
Aggressive approach. He reposted an AI video supporting his campaign full of violent imagery featuring Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, and incumbent Mayor Karen Bass, who's concerned about his approach. Take a look.
What do you make of his campaign and much of it now relying on AI?
I think it's a very dangerous trend. One, because it is absolutely 150% fiction. But what's worrying me now is that his social media is now taking on a violent turn. And that worries me, because when you do that and when your messages are so hateful, or when you demonize people, then you do provoke people who are unstable.
Demonize people, huh? You mean like the exact same way the feminist movement has been demonizing men here in the West for several decades now? Like, I don't know, like how many times have we all heard, we don't need men anymore. Men only want one thing. Men are worthless. The future is female. Men should just leave. And if you take a look at passport bros like myself, we did. And that's did not stop at the demonization. It just increased it. Why? I don't know. We literally just gave the majority of women here in the West, not all, but a majority of you ladies, exactly what you wanted. We literally did.
And you can jeopardize people's safety.
Now, you know, this, I'm glad we're not showing it, because it stunned me. And especially when we're talking about, we have to tone down the violence. And I mean, I was kind of freaked out by what I saw, because this was more. But I mean, people are asking, are we going to see more celebrities and reality stars like Pratt getting into politics? If they know what they're doing, I welcome anybody who knows how to do this. But if you're going to be like the guy who's already in charge, thank you, no.
Yeah.
Thank you, no. I'm not happy with what's going on, and I think it's a celebrity. Just because somebody's famous or is famous for something doesn't mean they know what's going on and how you are thinking and how.
Okay, first of all, let's break something down here. Whoopi Goldberg. What's it? Gavin Newsom, or what his name is? Yeah. His house was burned down during a California wildfire. He's running for office because of that. So, yeah, I'll be honest with all of you ladies. If you don't demonstrate that you're mentally incapable of showing any real remorse for someone who lost their house, like their home, due to a wildfire, I got news for you ladies. You ladies are just, or any woman out there, you're just not a good person. And it doesn't matter which way you look at it. Literally any human being on the planet is going to be a lot better off and a lot happier just not having you in their life. They literally would be.
You're feeling so.
Well, what I liked about Spencer Pratt throwing his hat in there is he was affected by the California wildfires, and he decided, I'm going to do something about it. So anyone who wants to civically get involved, I welcome them, because what I'm more offended by is a Congress that has its least popularity rate and approval ratings ever, and yet we just keep putting the same people back there. So I would much rather shake up the pot in ways that make it fresh energy, fresh new blood in there. But what's the scariest part of the AI video we saw, and you're not seeing right now, was the AI part for me.
That's what I call censorship and manipulating information. Yeah. This is the exact reason why we have the constitutional right known as freedom of speech, ladies. It literally is. But thank you so much to feminists like this one here for literally revealing you don't know what the constitutional right to freedom of speech actually is. Thank you so much for that. That was super.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing Hugh Jackman in there, and our brains aren't designed to say, oh, that's not really Hugh Jackman saying these things.
And he didn't agree to it either.
And he didn't
Our brains are designed to understand that. We have literally been doing that with anime for decades now.
agree to his likeness
Right.
being
Why is
used,
he
Vice
in it?
President Harris.
Why-
Well,
It's
there's-
AI slop.
It's all AI. Yeah, it was all this created.
But why him?
Well, I don't know. We'd have
Well,
to
he's
ask.
Wolverine
Yeah.
and he's
Oh yeah, and it's like
popular.
a Batman-themed thing. But I
Yeah.
thought the biggest part is our brains cannot separate. And when the Mayor Bass talks about the dangers that can imply, I was not offended as much by the imagery because it was very much a pull from comic books as it was that there were people that didn't agree to it, that are all over it.
The AI of it does bother me. Listen, I like Spencer Pratt. We had him here. I think he's compassionate. I think he has an interesting story to tell because I talked to my sister lives in Los Angeles. People were devastated by the wildfires and they're frustrated with their leadership. And I applaud anyone getting their hat in the ring. There is a path for Spencer. I'd say it's still uphill just based on the voter registration of Los
If you have respect for him and you are and you're fully acknowledging that people had their lives devastated by the wildfires, why don't you try making the lives for men in California a little bit better? Because when it comes to reconstruction for disasters that happened during wildfires, we all know who are the people that are rebuilding those homes. It's not the women, it's technically the men. Men make up the majority of the infrastructure work. They do. So if you feel remorse for the people who lost their homes to the wildfires, why don't you ladies help the men out so they can rebuild those homes maybe a little bit faster? That's literally what you should be doing.
Angeles. But here's my thing. I mean, he said this. I thought this was interesting. I do not represent a party. I don't have a campaign manager. I don't have campaign consultants. There is no political party backing me. I'm all for the viral approach if it's pushing forward a message and solutions for the people.
Yeah.
I think introducing AI into campaigns in general is super dangerous. I think it can be incredibly misleading. It makes people think, to Sarah's point, there's endorsements that aren't taking place. The nature of it, I was shocked to see so many people applauding it. I was like, this is the lowest hanging fruit. We're throwing tomatoes at like Democratic politicians we don't like do a little better. So something I think that we've learned is I believe there's a path he could get elected, but getting elected is the easy part of the job.
Yeah, you
Governing
actually have
3
to-
million
yeah, you
people
have to
in
know
Los Angeles
what you're doing.
and overseeing and fixing what is a broken system. I think Karen Bass handled the fires disastrously,
minute.
but actually being qualified to take on that role is what's
So
hard.
Karen Bass will be running against Spencer Pratt.
She is.
And,
She is.
a
Okay, I
city
just want to make this
councilwoman.
point.
Yeah.
So Karen Bass has a JFK Profile and Courage Award. She navigated California through the worst economic crisis since the Depression.
Wait. Navigating California is the worst economic crisis since the Depression? Okay, madam, I don't know what planet you're living on right now. I really don't know anymore, but last time I checked, California is one of the most expensive states in the country to live in. It's literally on par with New York City. In order to pay off something so much as a traffic ticket in California, an average citizen needs to take out a loan from the bank in order to pay that off. I have literally found out, seeing that there are doctors who used to live in California that moved here to Florida because even with their doctorate's degree, they were still barely able to keep themselves out of the red while living in California, and they were only able to rent a house. Not own, rent a house. So yeah, I don't know how you can possibly say that, hey, this mayor did a good job navigating helping California out through the worst economic crisis since the Depression, because that is clearly not the case. It really is not.
Spencer Pratt was Snapchatter of the Year at the 2018 Shorty Awards.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, I mean, I think you're talking about qualifications, right?
Yeah.
And the problem that I have with someone like Spencer Pratt, throwing his hat into this particular ring as LA mayor. We're talking about a $14.9 billion budget for the city. It's the second largest city budget in the country. And he is not qualified for it. And we see what.
All right, madam, let's be perfectly honest here. The only qualifications you really need to run for any elective office and serve in office is to have a majority vote of the people. That's the only thing you need. Anything more than that, and you are officially disrespecting the will of the people. It's literally stated, that has literally been relevant in the Declaration of Independence, stating that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that we are all created equal. Yeah. But regardless, I thought we should give a big thumbs up and a big round of applause to the feminists here for actively revealing on their own free will, on their own TV show, to the entire planet, they don't even know what democracy even is. Yeah. That's just all I wanted to point out.
Happens when people are not qualified for their jobs. And that's not to say that this hasn't happened before. We've had Ronald Reagan, who was an actor. Some people would say he was a great president. We've had
But he was the
Governor Arnold
president of SAG
Schwarzenegger
at one point.
Yes,
he was a union president.
He was a union president. He had
And he was
some
a governor before he was
experience,
president.
and
He was a governor.
And then you had Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was an actor and then a governor. And by many accounts, he did well. But these are people, I think, that sometimes are, anomalies, that may not necessarily be the case.
They're not anomalies, madam. They literally ran in the election and they won in fair and square, and by gaining a majority of support from the people. They gained the majority of the voters. That's what happened. They were not anomalies. They ran a campaign just like anyone else did, and they got the majority votes. They won that campaign. They got put into office. End of story.
Spencer Pratt is now comparing himself to President Obama. And he said,
Well, Snapchatter of the Year
He
is not
said-
the same
well, he
thing
said, I mean-
as the head of the law review at Harvard.
he said,
You mean just like how you ladies are comparing him to another woman in the race? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how elections work. You compete against another person, so the voters can have a choice of who gets to be their representative in office. You compare the two candidates. Yeah.
I have 2 awards from my community. President Obama actually didn't even have any awards when he was a community organizer. He was able to become a senator and then a president for 8 years. So I feel like him, and I have the same experience.
What's wrong with that? He just pointed out some facts about his rewards. You ladies literally did the exact same thing not too long ago for another candidate. So what's the problem there?
And Spencer Pratt, sir,
Spencer
you
Pratt.
don't have the same experience. You don't have a law degree from Harvard Law School. You don't, you were not a senator. And there are baby steps you can take. Like, why not run for city council and learn about the city budget?
All right. And what law, madam, says that he has to do this in order to be qualified to run for any field of office? What law are you referring to? Oh, wait, let me check. There is no law that says he has to do that. Because, like I said, such a law would be disrespecting the will of the voters, aka the will of the people. Also, are you ladies willing to place the exact same expectations on your fellow women? Because if you're not, that is literally the textbook definition. Well, let me backtrack. Because refusing to place those exact same expectations on your fellow women that you are placing on the men is literally the textbook definition of discrimination. But regardless, I think we should give a big thumbs up I'll give credit where credit's due to all the feminists in this channel, like Whoopi Goldberg, for example, for openly admitting right here on their own free will, on their own TV show, to the entire planet, that in reality, despite all that talk about diversity, they are actively all for discrimination. They are. Now, you notice how I said Whoopi Goldberg as an example. The reason why for that is because we all know Whoopi Goldberg made a fortune on movies that promoted diversity, like the Sister Act, for example. But here we are, right here and now, with Whoopi Goldberg, along with so many other feminists, actually doing what men have been complaining about for quite some time now, which is they're going to say that they're supporters of diversity. They're going to say that they're supporters of Black Lives Matter. They're going to say all that stuff. But they only say it as a means of getting what they want. The moment any of these things end up proving to be an inconvenience for them, the very moment, that is when they are going to throw away all of that stuff without any hesitation, without even thinking about it, and fully embrace the polar opposite of what these things stand for, or what these movements stand for. Yeah, I believe there's a word for this. It's called hypocrite. That's what it is. And that is the exact same complaint that men have been making for so long now, for several decades, that have landed on deaf ears. And because of that, so many men, including myself, not all, but a majority of us, have decided to just opt out, become passport bros, get ourselves wives from overseas, or go MGTOW, aka men going their own way. Because let's face it, everybody, why on earth should any man out there, even entertain the idea of navigating through this minefield when he could literally get away from overseas for a fraction of the effort and the risk it would take to navigate this minefield? Like, why would he even entertain it? What's in it for the man? You guys be the judge. Because after all, like I said before, if a regular lunch bucket guy like me can get himself a devoted wife from overseas from the opposite side of the planet, why can't you?